Hey everybody, this is Pickle Pyro, and I got another FNAF tier list for you all today. Now, my last one was about FNAF characters, and it did pretty well. You guys seemed to enjoy it. It got a lot of likes, a couple comments, so I appreciate that. So today I figured I would do a tier list on my favorite FNAF games, rather than the characters. Now, we have all the usual tiers, but I did add a haven't played tier because I have not played every FNAF game. I know a lot about every FNAF game, but I haven't played them all. But even ones that I put in haven't played, I'm still going to talk about them and my feelings about them. So, I do have some criteria for where I'm going to place these. I'm going to rank them based off how scary they are, the gameplay, the lore, the characters, and just how much I like them in general. You might disagree with some of these, you probably will, but this is just my opinion. So, but let me know once I'm done. Comment below if there's anything that you would change. So, by the way, these opinions are from a FNAF veteran. I bought FNAF 1 on mobile when it first came out, and I've been pretty obsessed with the series ever since. So let's get started, shall we? Enough rambling. FNAF 1. I think, controversial pick maybe, possibly, is deserving of S tier. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was released in 2014, and it revolutionized the horror industry as a whole, in my opinion. This game was so popular and so crazy with all like these Let's Players playing it, and freaking Scott Cawthon, he deserves every little bit of praise he got for this game. It is a masterpiece, in my opinion. Now, does the game hold up in 2020? Let me tell you, I can testify that it does. This game is still scary in 2020, in my opinion, because one of my buddies, who I mentioned in the last video, Paul the Board Game, my buddy on YouTube, go subscribe to him, he gifted me FNAF 1. Thank you. What a G, am I right? And playing this game in 2020, it's not my first time playing it, but it's still scary. Even though I know how all of the characters work. I know that you're supposed to look at Freddy, you're supposed to make sure you're using the cameras, you can look at Foxy, shut the door on Bonnie and Chica. But it's still so scary. Even when you're not getting jump scared, the sound design is so clever and so scary, it holds up in 2020. I would give this a purchase. If you don't have it in your Steam library, you should definitely buy FNAF 1. Now, I did first play it on mobile, and FNAF 1 on mobile freaking sucks. So get it on Steam, because that is the actual way that's scary. But I love all the characters in FNAF 1. I love the lore. Obviously it is a little bit primitive because this is Scott Cawthon's first FNAF game. So the gameplay, you might argue, is a little bit boring. I would kind of disagree because I do think the gameplay is more fun than a few of these other games. But we'll talk about that later. So FNAF 1, S tier. My second favorite. We'll get to what my first favorite is, but this is my second favorite FNAF game. FNAF 2. I'm going to give you an A tier because I don't think you're on the same level as FNAF 1. Now, FNAF 2, I think definitely held up as a sequel. It wasn't disappointing. The gameplay was really stressful and very difficult, actually. I think this is the most difficult FNAF game besides, like, 5020 and Ultimate Custom Night. But, I love all the characters in FNAF 2. I think the character design, Scott Cawthon really went all out and made the designs a lot more unique rather than, just the basic FNAF 1 animatronics. I think the lore in this game is also kind of primitive. We only really had the mini games and like Golden Freddy, which was like the kind of more explored lore of this game. I like that it's a prequel to FNAF 1. I think that was really creative. And it explains, Phone Guy still being alive. It's super cool. And I purchased this game the other day along with FNAF 1 because I've kind of been addicted to FNAF games lately for whatever reason. Mostly because me and my friends have been talking about them lately. And this game also holds up in 2020, I feel. The gameplay is stressful. It is the sound design, especially the scary ambiance music that plays when like Foxy's in the hallway. It's scary, man. This game is very scary. I'm probably going to say that about all these games, but FNAF 2's gameplay still holds up in 2020 as well. Not as much as FNAF, well, I don't know. It's kind of debatable whether or not the gameplay is better in FNAF 1 or 2. I'd probably say I like the gameplay of FNAF 2 more, but I just like the whole vibe and ambiance of FNAF 1 more. Holy crap, if I keep up this pace, this video is going to be like 30 minutes long. FNAF 3. I'm, I think I'm going to put FNAF 3 in C tier. Now, hear me out. FNAF 3 is by no means a bad game. However, I think there was a lot of missed potential, and I think it was kind of overhyped. Now, that's not the fault of Scott Cawthon whatsoever, but I think this game was super overhyped, and I think it caused a lot of high standards for Scott to have in this new game, and I think a lot of things could have been changed, gameplay wise. I think Springtrap being the only animatronic that can kill you is cool and all, but it does get kind of lame just seeing like the boring Springtrap jump scare. I know it fits in with the lore because it's William Afton and you're Michael Afton, his son, but I just feel like a lot more could have been done with FNAF 3. It's still a good game. I don't think it's bad. I think the gameplay is fun. It's unique. Yeah, there's once again no doors, but you're playing audio lore to just keep Springtrap at bay. And I think that's a really cool concept. I like that it's not just another, door, flashlight, whatever. I like that this gameplay is more unique with like the control panel resetting thing. I think the gameplay is a lot, stressful, like FNAF 1 and 2. But I feel like just more could have been done. But I don't think that's Scott's fault. I think he just had a lot of high expectations for this game, and he wasn't able to completely deliver. Not saying it's a bad game, though. FNAF 4. This is a toughie. It's kind of a middle game, I feel. In my opinion, I think FNAF 4 was a very scary game. It's arguably the scariest in the series. I think the whole gameplay of, listening for the breathing is really scary because you have to be listening really closely, and if you screw it up, the jump scare is super loud and all up in your face. I think the Nightmare character's design is really cool. Probably my favorite. It's the bit. I talked about this in my character too. We're not going into that. But I think the lore is really cool, and it introduced the Bite of 83, which was this whole new concept that was just freaking crazy. And everyone thought it was the Bite of 87, but it actually turned out to be the Bite of 83 at Fredbear's Family Diner. And the lore in this game is just really cool with, the crying child. And I always thought Michael Afton was the crying child, but turns out he's the kid with the Foxy mask. He's the older brother. But I don't have super fond memories of this game like I do FNAF 1 and 2, but it's still a good game. I think I actually don't have FNAF 4 on Steam, but I think I used to when I was a kid. I think I just refunded it because I was a little baby and I got scared. Same with FNAF 3. I think I only have 1 and 2 in my Steam library. Anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the games, not my stupid Steam library. Come on, pick up. What are you doing? But yeah, FNAF 4, I think, is deserving of B tier. FNAF World, I have not played, but I'm going to play because today I learned that FNAF World is free on Game Jolt. It was taken off Steam. I know very little about FNAF World, actually, mainly because Markiplier didn't do a playthrough of it. I know that it is, like an RPG-based game, and I feel bad because this game was really freaking... This game got a lot of hate. I feel bad for Scott. I really like that he was trying a new formula with his FNAF games. Instead of doing a horror game, he took his characters and did, this RPG. And I think that's cool. I like that Scott went into a different direction. Whether it's good or not, that's your opinion. But I'll see. We'll see for our freaking selves. Because I'm downloading the game right now. I'm going to play it later. I'm going to see how it is. But if I did play it, I don't know. I guess it would be like C tier. I don't know. Moving on because I don't know that much about FNAF World. I don't want to sound stupid. Sister Location. This is a really tough choice. It's either B or A tier. I don't think it's an S tier. I'm going to give it A tier because I love Sister Location. However, more could have been done. I think there was a lot of wasted potential in this game, but I'm not saying it's bad. I still think Sister Location is an excellent game. I love the lore. I love Circus Baby. I love all these new characters that we got introduced to. The lore of Ennard and Michael Afton. It's super creepy. And Sister Location would be in C tier if it wasn't for the custom night. Because one factor that I didn't mention at the start actually is replayability. I think every game should have some kind of replayability so you can come back to it. FNAF 3, we had, the good ending with, like, the mini games. FNAF 4, I don't know, I guess there was a 20 mode. FNAF 2 there was custom night, and FNAF 1 there's custom night. Sister Location didn't have custom night on start when it was released, and Scott added it in later, and if that didn't happen, I think it would be in C tier. But Sister Location is such a cool game. I love the whole vibe of it being like this underground facility. It's super cool. But I think the whole mini game formula does get kind of old. Like the mini arenas mini game is pretty lame. Um, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the gameplay, but I like that it's a whole different kind of game than the first four in the series, with just being stuck in an office. This is when you actually move around. But I think more could have been done with like the whole vent system and moving around. Um, I mean, the only time we really see that is that optional thing where you can go into Circus Baby's thing and hear the lore from her. I wish that there was more stuff like that. Um, but it's not a bad game at all. It's definitely one of my favorites. Um, what else is there to say about this location? That's really all I have to say about it. It's definitely one of the more influential FNAF games, I think. Uh, yeah, that's all I gotta say about this location. Moving on, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. This is probably my favorite FNAF game. I think the whole Pizzeria Tycoon formula, I really like that. I love the gameplay, the whole office phase. This, in my opinion, is one of the scariest, one of, if not the scariest FNAF games. Because the office phase, there's no, like, strategy to it. There's no, like, guaranteed strategy that's going to work. Like, FNAF 1, we had, like, 420 mode where it's like, check, close the right door when you flip up the camera, check the lights. Pizzeria Simulator, there's so many ways you can tackle it. You have the motion detector, the audio lore, silent ventilation. You have so many different ways to tackle it, and there's like 6 different endings you can get. And in these games, FNAF 2 and Sister Location being the only exceptions, there's only one ending. And I think it's so cool that Pizzeria Simulator gives you so many different ways to go through the game. And I like on paper it's like this pixel game, and then it actually goes into the real game. It's kind of like deceptive. I think Scott was definitely going crazy mode with Pizzeria Simulator. I like the whole lore about it with Henry, and the ending cutscene with his monologue at the end is basically a meme at this point. Pizzeria Simulator is an excellent game, definitely my favorite. I said probably, but this is my favorite FNAF game because it's free. Anyone can play this, and it doesn't take a good computer to run it either. But, all these other games, you have to pay for them. So anyone can play Pizzeria Simulator, but yeah. That's all I gotta say about FNAF 6. My favorite in the series. Help Wanted, I've never played, but I really want to. Because I think if I have played this game, I would probably put it in S tier because it looks so much fun. There's so much content to do. There's so much lore to be discovered with the tapes, and I love the direction that the series is going in with the whole glitch trap stuff that they're doing with like the virus, all that. Super interesting. And the games just look really fun and really scary because VR horror games look really scary, honestly. I really wish I had a VR headset, but they're like $400, so I don't think I'm ever gonna play this game unless I find like a friend who has VR. But yeah, not much else to say about VR. I never played it. Probably never will, but I really hope I can someday. Maybe when I'm an adult, I'll be super rich or something and I can get a VR headset. That's a freaking dream come true. Moving on, Ultimate Custom Nights. A very unexpected game from Scott. It's very different from the other FNAF formula, being that there's no night 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just one night, and you can, customize it the way you want. I'm just saying basic stuff. Ultimate Custom Night goes in A tier. Not on the same level as FNAF 1 and Pizzeria Simulator, in my opinion, but once again, it's a free game. Anyone can play it. I love how much control you have over it. I like all the I've beaten like half the challenges so far. I'm trying to beat all of them, but I love the challenge with 50-20, and I remember the hunt for like people trying to see who can beat it first. It was super fun and super crazy to watch. This game is just really good. It's a good game. the lore of William Afton, like this being his personal hell with all the animatronics torturing, and that's so cool. I love Ultimate Custom Night. It's great. Definitely on the level as these other games. FNAF AR, I think I'm gonna put in D tier. I played it once, and I got bored of it, and I deleted it. I don't know very much about this game, honestly. It just looks kind of boring. It doesn't look scary because it's on mobile. That's the thing. Mobile games aren't scary. I learned that when playing FNAF 1 and 2 on mobile. The gameplay was just confusing. I really had no idea what I was doing. Um, yeah, like, I guess that's cool, like, with all the animatronic skins and stuff, but I hate that the animatronic skins are being treated as, like, individual characters. I don't know what to say about FNAF AR. It's just kind of there. Like all these other games are just so much more significant. No one really talks about FNAF AR. But yeah, it's really the only game in the series that I just dislike. Like even FNAF 3, like I don't hate it, and I don't hate FNAF AR. I don't really know what I'm doing. But FNAF AR is my least favorite in the series. Freddy in Space 2 is the most recent. Does this even qualify as a FNAF game? I mean, I guess FNAF World really doesn't, but I've never played it, but I didn't even know this game existed until I first started looking at this tier list. Because, like, I looked on Game Jolt, and this is a Scott Cawthon game. Scott Cawthon made this. And I don't... I've only seen a couple clips of this game. It's like this weird freaking shoot 'em up game or something. Like I looked at the bosses and they all look really weird, and you can play as like there's a Markiplier boss or something. I don't know. This game is so bizarre. I've never played it. I've only seen a little bit of gameplay. Maybe I'll try this too because I'm gonna try FNAF World. So I don't know. Well, I don't know what to say about this game. I've looked at some other people's tier lists and they always put it at D tier. So I don't know. Anyways, those are all the FNAF games, everyone. Are there any revisions I want to make? You know what? If there was a tier in between S and A, Ultimate Custom Night would go there. Because I don't have a connection to it like I do Pizzeria Simulator and FNAF 1. But it's still an awesome game, and it's free. So anyone can play it if they just have a Steam account. But, yeah, I think that about does it for this tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Is there a game that you would put in S tier, or you would move down, or what do you guys think? I'd also like to know what you think about some of my more controversial opinions, like FNAF 3. Do you agree with that? I've heard mixed things. You know, a lot of people love FNAF 3, and a lot of people think it's the weakest. That's a good way to put it. The weakest. It's not bad, but it's just the weakest out of all these games. You know. I do love Springtrap, and I think he is one of the more interesting characters, but yeah, I don't think I said enough about FNAF 3. But other than that, by the way, if you couldn't tell, this entire video is freestyle. I just thought about it a little bit before I started recording, and I was just like, you know what? This is what this is what I think. So, yeah. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you very much for watching. Comment if you have any videos that you want me to do. Maybe there's like a tier list related to like, I don't know, TF2 or some game that I played that you guys would like to see. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Peace out. Thanks for watching, everybody.